Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Pulse. I'm your host, Connor Sundet, and on behalf of myself and the team here at Spokane Talks, we are very happy to have you with us. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be right back after this.
Well, this is Bloomsday in Spokane. We got about 40 firefighters and their friends and family handing out 40,000 cups of water as the day goes by.
It's a very good opportunity to see the public and support them and help them out and cheer them on during Bloomsday.
It's one of the best things about Spokane is that we have these major events and the whole community comes together not just to participate, but to volunteer and show that they really care about our city and making our city look great.
This type of an event really is emblematic of Spokane because so many people get involved. We have 50,000 people probably running this race. Always has been a very huge event.
Right now we're at the corner of Broadway and Nettleton. It's the last water station before the finish, so people are pretty much dehydrated by the time they get to us. They really need our water.
The water stations are a vital part, especially on warm days like today. It's real important that we have the volunteers to help with that. Without the volunteers, Bloomsday wouldn't exist.
All up and down the course, there are people that are involved in this celebration. It really is a celebration of what Spokane's all about.
At Wendell, you are respected, you are valued, and we have an experience tailored to fit your lifestyle.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Gina.
And we bought 3 cars from Wendell Motors. Throughout the day, I just kind of would get updates, texts, phone calls, and I was actually really impressed with how my wife was taken care of.
People should shop at Wendell because they make you feel like family.
For your tailored experience, come see us at Wendell at the Y or Wendell.com.
What happens when you pay your ABC membership?
We're glad you asked.
We educate the future workforce.
We keep you safe.
Negotiate the best insurance rates.
Organize networking events.
Implement 401k programs.
To keep our members open shop.
Offer discounts to make you profitable.
Each path to success is different,
but they all start and go through ABC.
We are ABC, Associated Builders and Contractors of the Inland Pacific,
where all the best builders and contractors locally unite.
When building a home or considering a major remodel, who are you going to choose? The Spokane Home Builders Association is an organization that works to elevate professionalism in the residential construction industry. We promote, protect, and educate for our community, building our community one home at a time. We are the Spokane Home Builders Association.
What's up, Spokane? I'm your host, Connor Sundet, here to keep you up to date on all things in our wonderful city. First, the historical Garland Theater in North Spokane is continuing their annual comedy film festival February 22nd. The event calls on local stand-up comedians and filmmakers to create 7-minute short films for the purpose of bringing our community together. The festival has an array of films ranging from silent films to slapstick. The event starts at 7 p.m. and runs till about 10 p.m., but that time is subject to change. So mark your calendars and come out and laugh your way through a fun evening. Next, Pino's Palette is hosting several sip and paint events throughout the month, including this weekend. The events are 21 plus and taught by staff at the studio. Each event teaches you to paint something new, ranging from winter blues to springtime sunshine. This weekend, they are teaching students to paint a midnight cherry blossom tree. Their calendar is on their website, which you can find by searching them, so you can choose what day works best for you and your group. And that's what's up, Spokane. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be right back after this.
Contact us today to learn how PowerView automation makes everyday living effortless.
Why are housing prices going up so fast in the Spokane area? Hello, I'm Darren Watkins with the Spokane Association of Realtors. It's a simple case of supply and demand.
Since 2010, we have seen the number of available homes on the market fall dramatically,
from 2,348 in January of 2010 to only 164 per month in 2021. That's a 94% reduction in our housing supply. The result? Housing prices began to climb rapidly in 2015, with a median home price in Spokane County of $179,000. That same home today would cost you $380,000. That is, if you can even find a home to buy.
For the last, I'd say at least 10 to 15 years, I think we've been underbuilding. We've seen this crisis coming, and nothing's being done to fix it.
There are no homes to purchase. When there is a home that comes up that buyers like, you're up against 20 plus other buyers who are making an offer on the same house.
Adding to the crisis, thousands of families are fleeing major West Coast cities such as Seattle, Portland, and Los Angeles. Among the top destinations, Spokane, Washington.
When you talk about an out-of-town buyer, they've sold that home in a coastal market, let's say, a Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, LA, take your pick, for $1.5 million, and they come to Spokane and can replace that thing and be in a nicer home for $500,000.
When there are 20 plus offers on a property that they feel like they don't have a chance. So now they're having to look at homes far lower than they're even qualified for, because they have to compete with cash deals or something that goes so much further over the list price, and it's extremely defeating for clients.
The answer is clear. We need more homes immediately, especially for entry-level workforce housing. Every day that we wait, those costs are just going to keep going up and up.
First, join us with Connor as he talks with Andy Brown about Spokane's strange weather habits. Take a look.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Pulse. Today, I'm with Andy Brown from the National Weather Service, here to talk a little bit about the weather and some of the impacts coronavirus has had on Noaa. So, Andy Brown, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Connor. Glad to be here.
Always happy to have you back on.
Yeah, awesome. This is what I enjoy about my job, is I get to talk to people and about the weather and communicate what's going on. So I love this part of the job.
Yeah, I would love that, to have that job, talk about weather all the time and with people about it. Yeah,
exactly.
So let's jump right into it. So what's our snowfall looking like so far in this La Nina?
This La Nina, so as we talked about before, La Nina weather patterns are typically colder and provide more snow for the Pacific Northwest. We have gone through a couple different phases where it was dry and then it was really wet, really cold. But what's amazing is at this point in early February, we are almost exactly normal for this time of year. So our average snowpack is near 100% up in the mountains. If you go back to early January, it was like 130, 140%. But because it's been so dry, now we're kind of caught up to normal. So after this dry period for almost the last month, we're very close to what normal looks like so far.
That's awesome. It's important to have that snowpack because it provides us with our fresh water, correct?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons that we monitor the snowpack and the runoff that's going to happen in the spring. So yeah, the snowpack is very important for the Pacific Northwest. We got to build that snowpack up. Water resources, irrigation, there's lots and lots of reasons. And the faster that snowpack is gone, the faster the mountains will start to dry out and become more susceptible to wildfires. So if we can keep those high mountain peaks covered in snow as long as we can into the spring, the better.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, highly important to our resources, highly important to us, especially here in Spokane. And it really helps during drought years too, like the one that we had this past year.
Correct. Yep. We went into an extreme drought, and it started about this time last year. It was February and March when we started to really dry out in 2021, and then that continued through the spring and the summer. And so we went from almost no drought across the region to an extreme drought. in just that amount of time in those 6 to 9 months. So we've had some relief from that. From October until January, we had a lot of moisture during that time frame. So we've seen some relief, but that deficit is still there. So we're actually still in drought conditions across the inland Northwest.
Hopefully we'll have a wet spring, which will enable us to get out of that, drought and back to normal. But I've seen some of the outlooks to this summer, and it's looking pretty dry.
That's right. Yeah, I was looking just recently, and the Climate Prediction Center, they do all of the long range outlooks, and they are still calling for a wet spring, more than average rainfall and snowfall during the spring months. But there's no relief in the short term. In the next couple of weeks, it's going to be very dry. So if that moisture comes, it's going to be later in February and in March, because I don't see anything in the near future.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get it. In the near future and later in the future, and
right.
We're able to get through summer without some severe droughts and stuff. So
exactly, yeah,
that's always nice. So let's talk a little bit about coronavirus. The Omicron variant obviously came through late December, early January. Washington just reached its peak. We're starting to decline a little bit in our coronavirus cases, but explain how it's impacted Noaa.
So Noaa is a part of the federal government. So we follow all of the rules and the regulations through the federal government. I am only unmasked right now in my office because I have my door closed, but we follow all those rules and guidances that we have. It's of course been a challenge for the administrative people like myself. I typically am now working from home. We still have 24/7 operations in every weather service forecast office around the country. That's 122 forecast offices. So people still have to come into work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and fill those seats and get out those forecasts and the watches and warnings and advisories that we send out. So we still have a mission to accomplish, but we have to kind of change the way that we approach that to make sure that we're being safe and we're taking care of ourselves. And yes, just like everybody else, we've had cases across the country and here locally, and we have enough resources here that we can backfill and make sure that all those shifts are covered and we're still meeting our mission.
That's good. And likewise with us, I had coronavirus a couple of weeks ago. I got the Omicron variant. It was flu-like symptoms, moderate, but I was able to get through it luckily. And to all the people who have it out there, we wish you a healthy recovery, and same with anyone who works at the National Weather Service, especially them.
Thank you.
They provide accurate and well-informed weather forecasts that we need. So.
That's what I like about us is this team here. We're very dedicated, and we're here 24/7. So we're looking at this weather 24 hours a day. We're like fine tune forecast. What exactly is the temperature going to be? And we're changing all the forecast and tweaking just to make sure we get everything as accurate as we can. And then, like last night we had some snow. Mm-hmm. And so we're spending all of our time making sure that we're getting the forecast as best as we can, letting the road crews know, the emergency management, the media, everybody know what's coming so they can be best prepared for that.
And the best way for citizens like me to see some of these updates that occur hourly is on your guys' Twitter page, correct?
Twitter is a great resource. We do send a lot of information through social media, through Twitter and Facebook. I always rely on our webpage, weather.gov/Spokane, or if you're anywhere else in the country, just put that city that you're in at the end, and it'll take you directly to your local forecast office. So I like that. Twitter, social media, during really busy operations, we try to staff up so that we make sure that we still have that social media presence. But getting those watches, warnings, advisories is our mission. So that's going to come first. So I don't want people to rely on social media to get that information, but it is a great resource to have. We try to get that information out that way too.
I've definitely relied on Twitter for some For example, a couple years ago, if you remember, we had this little snow cell that came through over the highway, and there were so many wrecks and stuff. And
Yes,
I was actually on the bus heading back from Cheney, where I go to school, Eastern.
Okay.
And I was looking on your guys' Twitter page, and it said, "Oh, car crashes everywhere, blah blah blah." There was like a snow cell that came through. I'm like, "Oh, wow." So I was stuck on that bus
I
for
remember that
at
very
least
well.
an hour and a
Yes.
half. So, but,
Yes, and that's one of those crazy situations that shows that was less than an inch of snow. And sometimes you can have 6 inches of snow and have almost no impact to the roads. And then a cell like that's a very narrow, 2 or 3 mile wide snow shower that dropped less than an inch of snow, and it caused 40 plus accidents and shut down the highway for hours and hours. It's just amazing how weather can impact everybody on such short notice.
yeah, no. And sometimes it's not even snow that affects us the most. Sometimes it's wind. I mean, Spokane has been known to have some windstorms. We had one
windstorms, yeah,
last year, didn't we? That reached above 60 miles per hour, upwards of 70, right?
That's right. We've had some major windstorms. Last January, we had a windstorm that the peak gust around the airport in Spokane was over 60 miles per hour. There was a lot more damage, though, in Idaho on that windstorm, if I remember correctly. But I was looking at the recent weather, and some of the biggest events that happened was that heat wave that affected us over the summer. And it was just astounding to me that over 500 people lost their lives in British Columbia, and over 200 in the U.S. Between Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. Over 200 people lost their lives.
And isn't those heat-related deaths the number one or one of the top 3 weather killers out there?
It is. Like flooding is the number one. But what I found interesting was historically that heat wave was the 9th deadliest weather event in the U.S. history. So if you think about all the tornado outbreaks, the hurricanes, the floods, all those events, the heat wave was the 9th deadliest in U.S. history, which is just astounding that heat, just this slow buildup of warm air, can have that level of impact. It's not like a tornado that comes through and rips everything up real fast. It's a very slow evolving weather system that just kind of sneaks up on folks.
Do you think that we could potentially have another one within the next couple of years?
That's the big question. That was an unprecedented event, and there's a lot of debate. I was just attending an annual conference, national conference, that talked about a lot of those. How frequently are these types of heat waves going to happen? And I don't think anybody knows right now. Is the honest answer is yes, they're more likely. How often? It could be another 100 years before we have something like that. It was just such an exceptional event. I don't think anybody knows how frequently we can, but we're using that as a learning experience. There's a lot of lessons that we can take from that, because maybe the next heat wave isn't in the Pacific Northwest, but maybe it's in this part of the country or this part of the country. So we're trying to take those lessons learned from that heat wave and use that to better prepare communities for that next one.
Right. And I'm sure climate change has some effect on this.
That's the big debate is how much. And there's a lot of voices. There's a lot of different opinions that go into that. And I will steer clear and let the experts talk about climate, because that is not my level of expertise.
Yeah. But I mean, the more that we know, the better off that we'll be in preventing deaths, because ultimately that should be the goal of,
That's the goal. That's the Weather Service mission, is to protect lives and property. So that is our goal, is to help learn those lessons and then work with the public, media, emergency management to mitigate those dangers, so that the next time we do have a disaster of some type, a weather disaster, we're better prepared. We have taken steps to better prepare ourselves and the public so that they can take proactive measures so that they can protect their life and their property.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Andy, for coming onto the program today.
Absolutely.
And if someone wanted to go look at the 7-day weather forecast, what's the website again?
Weather.gov, weather.gov/Spokane, or you can put your city at the end of that and it'll take you right there.
Gotcha. Well, Andy, yet again, thank you so much. And
Thanks,
thank
Connor.
you for tuning in. Have a great day.
At Eastern Washington University, biologists are harnessing gut microbes to build stronger bees. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And geology joins forces with robotics to explore innovative solutions for climate change. An interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world, that's the new thing. It isn't a tagline, it's a philosophy wrapped in red and white. It is Eastern Washington and you.
Spokane Realtors are dedicated to helping you find the right place to live. We're more than 2,000 strong, small business men and women guiding you through this most important purchase. We're also your neighbors, giving back thousands in volunteer hours to make our community a better place. We believe owning a home helps you live longer, with stronger families and better neighborhoods. That's who we are, ready to help you find your way home. Call one today.
Next, enjoy a clip from the locker room, where we talk all things sports. Enjoy.
What's like your dream sports venue moment to go to? Game, event, you can go to anything.
Probably TD Garden if the Celtics were involved in an Eastern Conference Finals or the Finals.
I was going to say, might as well be NBA Finals. Why do you stop at Eastern Conference?
Well, because I don't want to just like make that leap, and sometimes the conference championship games are more, as you know,
don't care.
As a Seahawks fan, actually more
don't care.
Pivotal than
why does it matter though? For two reasons. Why does it matter? Why can't you make that jump?
Okay, fine. Finals.
Of course, it's the finals. What?
Book it.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't wait to see the Mariners in the ALCS. It's like, no, I'm going to see them in the World Series in T-Mobile winning Game 4 because they swept whoever.
I'm just more grateful than you. And why would you want them to sweep? That doesn't make for anything interesting. Again, as a Seahawks fan, you should know.
Game 7.
But no, but wait. They could sweep, but it could still be a good series.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, what
if
each game was like
okay, but at the same
8-7,
time, the stakes
incredibly
are
high scoring,
going
crazy game.
to
increase,
deteriorate. No.
Well, increase as the series goes on.
Sure. Anyway, TD Garden.
Okay, that's fair. That's all I wanted to hear. Now you threw me off. You threw me completely off. Well, essentially, I brought that up just because I have airfare and stuff lined up for the first, second, Sweet 16, Elite 8 for GU. I'm really excited I would like to see them win in the national championship game. Going to Glendale and watching them lose in the national championship was an awesome experience, one that made me want to self-harm. But I'm glad that they did something.
Which one was worse, 17 or this past year?
Oh, 17.
Really?
Yeah, because I was there and I walked into the locker room and these guys are just absolutely defeated and destroyed.
You said self-harm, and I was like, all I heard was it made you want to sell farm.
That's what I heard at first, too. And I was like, wait.
Where is this?
I mean, I could sell some farms, some farming equipment, land.
You could be a real good farm salesman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a good salesman in general.
Actually, if Stanford football were relevant again and USC football were relevant again, I'd go down to the farm to watch USC Stanford. I mean, obviously, there's not a ton on the line. Maybe a Pac-12 championship in some year, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a fine one. I don't know if it's probably your top, but it's up there, top 5.
Do you think GU
Excuse me?
Sorry, I'm samming out right here.
Yeah.
Do you think
that's my thing, dang it.
Going to win the championship?
Do I think they will?
Do you think they're even going to make it to the rounds that you bought tickets for?
Yes. If they don't make it to the Sweet 16, I will not show up to. I will be dead.
Hey, they call it March Madness for a reason, man.
I will disappear. I will be in San Francisco and I'll drown myself in the bay. Actually, I won't be. I'll be in Portland and I'll walk just down the street and have some homeless guy kill me because that's very common, I think.
Then how will you self-harm?
I won't need to. Those are separate circumstances.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, separate circumstances.
Okay.
If they lose in the round of 32 to some 12 seed,
I don't know. I'm
11
thinking upset tonight, San Diego.
Crazy. Like he said, it is March Madness.
Mm-hmm. Anything can happen.
It's not going to happen.
Do you think they're going to make it farther this year?
Do I think yeah, I think their potential is still higher than it was last season.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
They have a deeper bench. They have more athleticism. And if they continue what they've done the last 3 weeks and shoot the basketball as well as they've had, they have better shooters from top to bottom. Because last year it was Kispert and Suggs a little, and that's about it.
Both
Nemhard
are
a little
shooting
bit
terribly in the NBA.
Maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
They're getting their feet wet.
Yeah, they are. Just not their
No, their potential is definitely better. But Vinny wants us to put a shoe on our head. What is this? Can you guys not talk ever?
Hey, you remember when Vinny gave me that really nice Christmas present full of
I think about it almost every day.
Dude, those were
that
so
really
good.
Nice handwritten card.
I think about it almost every day.
The reason he didn't give
literally every time I ever have a cookie, I'm like, God, I wish I would have had like a delicious one made by my friend Vinny.
He didn't give you that present because you won't put a shoe on your head.
I don't think I would have gotten one anyway. Am I wrong? All right, we got to move on. This is a quick show.
I don't know. I feel like we should just.
I think what people could potentially want to do, or at least look into, would be looking into cryptid coin.
Ooh, yeah.
CRIPTID coin. Very, very strong potential, I think.
Yep. Word on the street.
Very interesting market. One that I think you should look into, specifically that one. And also Lucky Bird, who is so generous.
We're shouting him out.
We're shouting him out.
We're not reading. I'm not reading.
We're going to give him a nice shout out though, for being long-term followers.
Just had a nice visit with our good friend Scott Cook, and he's alive, kicking well,
Scott.
And super swell guy.
Thank you, Scott. All right, locker room number 74. Justin Reed alongside Andrew Tenney here on a Thursday, which I think will become our new regular schedule. Which will be nice for now, temporarily regular. We are here to talk about some sports. Number 74 on the Mariners. Anyone come to mind? There's only one. There's only one.
It's not JJ Putz, so no.
LJ Newsome.
Don't know him.
All right. He's been here twice for 2 years, I mean.
Oh, okay.
Any Seahawks?
Cedric Agbui, George Fant.
No, yes. Yes.
It was 1 year. Yeah, Cedric changed his number. Tyler Columbus. No, was he 76? Shit.
Nope, not Tyler Columbus. I think he may have been 78.
All right.
George Fant, probably the bigger one that you need to think of. John Moffitt.
John.
Good old Johnny boy. Jake Curran is currently number 74.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All-time muffin top.
So I have a problem with Ortiz making it to the Hall of Fame in today's current climate. And I'll give you 2 reasons why. My biggest complaint is the fact that, hold on. This is a nicely structured argument. My first thought, how did he get in his first year when a guy who has better stats from top to bottom outside of home runs took 10 years to get there?
Who
Edgar
are you
Martinez.
referring to? Oh, okay.
First, that's my first argument.
Okay.
My other argument is he was also convicted of using steroids in the same report that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens were, and yet we're all just going to pretend like that didn't happen. I know. And now,
real quick. I just don't know. Did he test positive for steroids?
Yes, he was in the same report that Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, all of them were also tested positive in. So, my argument isn't keep him out. My argument is the first part saying, "Are you serious? Edgar took 10 years." And my second part is, so we're going to let this guy in because he admitted to it and whatever. But Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, these guys they don't belong.
You are so right.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. However,
let's move on.
do think because of the fact that they didn't let any person in, including, because obviously they just wanted to make examples and they wanted to.
Oh, of course.
Just
Baseball loves that.
bastardize Clemens and Bonds in particular. I think they had to do something or else everybody would. I mean, every freaking year, people are up in arms, rightfully so, and complaining about this election process. And how the baseball writers are some of the worst people of all time.
They're horrible.
Yeah, probably the worst American citizens that we have. And who's the one guy that's like Napoleon Dynamite had a kid with a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Sean O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
That
about.
guy sucks. How he doesn't vote for anybody every single year. So I almost wonder if it was just like, hey, let's put Ortiz in so that people have something to talk about and don't just look at the fact that we're completely neglecting one of, if not the best players in the history of the game.
I agree. I think, yeah. So that was my first impression. Sam, you have something to say?
No. I
okay.
I have another thing I want to talk about that's kind of related to this. So continue until you're done.
All right. So essentially, I'm pretty upset that if Edgar didn't get in at all, I would have been in lower thirds.
Oh, that's not even what I was asking.
That's pretty
about,
funny. That's pretty funny. That's not bad. How long did it take you to come up with that one?
It took me a while because I was working on Andrews and I couldn't think of yours. And then there was a little Vinny in the back of my head that was like, Burger Boy, Milkshake Man.
Thanks for that Snapchat yesterday, by the way.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. I went to send that to my girlfriend and then
I'm glad that
the base of my thumb, I clicked send and all of a sudden it's like, to Justin Reed, and I was like, what?
I was super confused because then I got one right after and I couldn't open it at the time. And I'm like, oh, that's odd.
And then I sent you that one where I burped.
And then I sent you a nice one back, just a separate Snapchat. And
I don't have you or Vinny on Snapchat.
That's
I just realized
I have both.
See, there you go. You didn't
but
get Christmas
do you
cookies.
have delectable Christmas goodies?
No, but I'm going to take my wins when I can get them. Actually, I don't know if I do have.
Also, okay. So
yes, what do you
it seems like
say?
you were kind of wrapping that up. I do agree. It seems weird that he got in as quick as he did because I do like Edgar Martinez. I think he was a great baseball player. What do you think? And I talked with Vinny about this. There should be a whole separate league of all the sports where it's just like do as much steroids
as you want.
as
Whatever
you
you
can.
want to do. I think that'd be incredible.
I think the only sport that it probably shouldn't have would be like UFC and boxing.
Yeah.
Because that
you could
kill somebody.
You could literally
but you know how crazy it would be if you just had a
But I'd still be down for it though.
Team? Oh yeah, 100%.
I'd still be like UFC. You guys want to like let's set up gladiator cages again. I don't care.
That would make soccer electric, actually.
Dude, think about that. Like soccer, baseball, people just hitting home run. You have to extend the home run line like another 300 feet.
Right. I'd love it.
Super fun.
Also, steroids like saved baseball in the 90s.
In a regard, yeah.
Yeah.
It kept things interesting and like it bridged the two generations for sure. Baseball could use a little uptick in steroids. All right. So also this week, MLB Players Association met a couple times. Looks like there is going to be a pretty decent chance that games will be lost, at least spring training games, since they're supposed to report here in a couple weeks, and the games start here in a couple weeks after that. That sucks. This is exactly the kind of thing that would happen to the Mariners.
I hate you.
This is the exact. Yeah. They're actually trending upward.
Yep.
And MLB decides completely anti-Mariners to lock it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's only because they hate.
They're only going about it this way with the Mariners in mind. Yes.
But actually, though, the Mariners. It's actually super frustrating because
it is, but it's not surprising. We do this all the time.
MLB does.
We just did this 2 summers ago.
I know, but it's so frustrating. I understand why they do it. But it just, of course, it has to happen. It's kind of like when the NCAA tournament was canceled and GU had home games. Like they were going to play in the Spokane arena.
Oh, I know. That was tough. And all the things they put up around Spokane, like the yellow.
Yeah, they had everything ready.
Block letters of Riverfront, and they did that whole new Spokane thing when you get off I-90. Yeah.
Essentially, MLB's anti-Mariners. Mm-hmm. All right, NFL talk here. So Brian Flores suing the NFL for racial discrimination.
Yeah, this is.
It could be a big deal.
I was telling my mom on Sunday when we were watching the games, and, obviously on Saturday, the whole Tom Brady thing happened. And then a couple hours later, it was like, well, is the Tom Brady thing happening? And then the games were the games. And then this happens, and it's like the NFL just needs to relax. Yeah. Like, it's awesome because there have been so many massive stories.
Right.
But, oh, my God, it's been like sensory overload here for the past 2 weeks.
Their PR teams are working 24/7, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I buy the argument that the NFL is racist. I don't think there's a concerted effort to keep minorities out of higher up positions because I think the NFL is so results driven. Any sort of professional sporting league is so results driven that you're going to do whatever you can to win. I don't think that there's this.
Okay, you're saying that with the accusation that Stephen Ross actively was incentivizing to tank,
so
as well as.
But I don't think that's anti-black. I don't think that's anti-minority.
Sure,
I think there's a lot of bad optics. I'm not denying that.
Okay, all right.
I think there's a lot of bad optics. Like the thing that really is bad is that in Buffalo when they hired the Bills OC to be head coach, and then they told everybody, like they told Bill Belichick, who in turn texted Brian and said, "Hey man, congrats on the job," when his interview was like 5 hours away, and it ended up being they were interviewing him literally probably just to fulfill the Rooney Rule, which I think we've talked about on the show at least once, or I've talked with other people about, is a horrendously stupid idea anyway. Because again, I think the NFL is so results driven; they need to win, and if the person, it doesn't matter the color of your skin if you win. I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Yeah, but if you lose, it does look like it matters about the color of your skin. I mean, look at David Culley this year. Look at Steve Wilkes down in Arizona. And then you see guys like Lane Kiffin or an Adam Gase or Coach XYZ that's white that gets opportunity after opportunity after opportunity without producing. And then you kind of...
In some of that,
I don't know. I think
it's definitely a good old boys club. Because like you look at, for instance, Kiffin, he's there on the coattails of his dad. Like a lot of these guys are on the coattails of their parents. And that is very true. But I still, there's definitely a lot of things that need to be looked at for sure. I just don't.
I thought the Broncos thing was actually the most appalling.
If it's true, because it's a classic he said, she said in that result. In that regard. Because even Elway came out and said, I was definitely disheveled. We had an overnight flight. I wasn't all there. And that's my mistake. But I don't know if I buy the fact that he was hungover or drunk or whatever at the time of the interview. I think that would be pretty darn ballsy.
I wouldn't put it past him. Do people in positions like that all over corporate America? Like,
yeah, I agree. I could see it in some regard, but I don't know if I would see it with him because of a legacy that he would have to uphold. It's different than just.
I don't think that's constantly on the forefront of their minds when they're
maybe not making
other
decisions
day in, day
but
out.
I think on his though, because he's a former player. Now, an owner who's just a billionaire, probably not, but a guy who has generations worth of fans,
maybe
that could I think where it's a little more problematic. But no, the NFL definitely has a large issue here to look at, and definitely some changes that could probably be made so that this sort of thing doesn't happen again. What's really interesting is Brian Flores is still the finalist for the Houston job.
Yeah, but it's not like he's going to get it anyway. They wanted to give it to Josh McCown last year.
They did.
I mean, I would be surprised. And then
it's just surprising that they announced him as a finalist, or they didn't really announce it. People have said he's a finalist because I don't know if anyone would hire him with this current situation. And he even said that when he made this announcement. He was like, I'm risking my future as being a head coach in this league. We talked about this on the show that it was surprising that the Dolphins fired him. Not super surprising. What would have been more surprising is him not getting hired anywhere.
Yeah.
Would have been like an actual deal, I think.
Well, but what's interesting now in the light of these accusations and these alleged transgressions was that the firing of Brian Flores was because he had been abrasive and there were relationship issues between he and Tua, he and the owner, he and the GM. Mm-hmm. If this is true that he came on to the team in 2019 and was immediately being offered $100,000 each time he lost a game, I can understand why that would immediately create friction when you land your first head coaching gig that you've been gunning for your whole professional career.
I agree.
Post-playing, and this is what you get dumped in your lap. I mean, if that all is true, then it's very understandable as to why things soured and why he may have been abrasive or less agreeable or just difficult to work with. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. There's a problem there. There are a myriad of problems, and it's going to be interesting to see which ones actually stand true and are fortified. Yeah, right. And what comes of that? I mean,
the NFL also is dealing with Dan Snyder again. There were more reports of sexual harassment that just surfaced this morning.
Were there really? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I actually only saw it on The Athletic.
Also, how do you come out with the Commanders knowing that the nickname of the nickname is going to be the Commies? How do you not think about that?
Yeah.
How do you not think about that?
They probably did.
Uniforms are pretty sick.
I love, they're black helmets. They're matte red. It's really cool. Mm-hmm. They're really taking advantage of, and they're the first team to really take advantage of the new helmet rules about, being able to have a couple different helmets. Yes, they nailed that aspect of it. And the name.
I like the W too.
The W is cool. It looks very clean, but very aggressive for a letter. Like you wouldn't think that a letter would be that cool, but they did a pretty good job with it.
Well, it's commanding.
Right. Yeah. No, I like the name overall, though.
No.
Yeah, I do.
No.
I do overall.
Really?
Yeah. What would you have picked?
Red Wolves.
No, you wouldn't have.
I don't know.
The Red Wolves is one of the generic team names you're going to pick when you start a franchise in Madden.
To be completely honest, I would have left it the Washington football team. I actually
that
thought
was top up there for sure.
Yeah. No, I actually think that ended up sticking, and it was more what you got?
I agree. Commanders is weak.
So weak.
I don't think it's weak.
It feels kind of boring.
Well, the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, it's just kind of like okay.
All right, sick.
Well, what else would you have picked? You can't just say
the
it
Washington
sucks without
football
having.
Washington football team.
I think Washington football team was slightly more.
What'd you say? Welcome to the show.
I wouldn't put it back.
I
all right, we got to get this kid a mic.
I definitely, that joke has been made in a couple different capacities. But yes, that could have definitely gone over really well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people would have
if there's a
excited.
franchise
I
to
do
do it.
agree with Andrew. I did just like Washington football team.
It stuck, and it was
kind of goofy, but
it was reflective of just how dysfunctional the franchise was, and it just embodied all things that franchise has been for the last however many years. How long has Dan Snyder been involved? Too long. Anyway.
A while. Yeah. So huh?
Cool.
I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
All right, Brady retired.
Yeah, apparently.
Finally. And yeah, allegedly, according to all sorts of different sources. I love this whole anti-Adam Schefter thing that's been going on for a couple of years. Like,
are you being facetious?
I'm being 100% serious.
Okay, me too, because
I think it's awesome. I think it's hilarious.
I hate Adam Schefter.
Okay, I really liked Adam Schefter for a long time.
I did too when I was like in high school.
And when he wasn't going on TV for every single show that they had.
I turned on him after he did Luck the way that he did.
Which part?
Announcing the retirement when Luck was on the field during a preseason game, and then the boos come berating from the stands as he's walking in, to the locker room at halftime, and he doesn't get ahead of his own story, and then he has to. No, that was awful. Andrew Luck was one of my favorite athletes ever, and the fact that Schefter did that, I was like, all right, I'm out. That is an awful thing to do it to another human being.
Right. Yeah. I didn't. I think it's hilarious that he tweeted about Brady retiring, and Brady's like, hold on, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I love when these insiders who their direct goal is to be first no matter the result, because he even tweeted out a couple years ago. Was it Kobe's thing, or someone died, or someone had some sort of like personal information. Oh, it was medical history. It was he tweeted out someone's like medical chart.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what the?
Was that?
I don't remember who that was.
Yeah,
it was some guy who was hurt. He was an NFL guy. Well, had to have been an NFL guy. And which actually he's been tweeting about other breaking
That's the
news.
other thing
He's
that
like,
pisses me off. He gets into the basketball
You're the
stuff.
NFL insider.
Oh my god, no, he's got such a short man complex.
Oh,
and
he's
just
so
like
tiny.
his Schefter stamp of approval on anything that happens. It's just he sucks.
Yeah.
Or somebody will break something else, and then he will basically tweet the exact same thing, and then add one minor detail that doesn't really matter, and then per Schefter.
And to be fair, that also that's what all the insider guys all just steal each other's stuff.
I know.
Because whoever gets it first, they just tweet it 10 seconds later.
I know, but he's the face of it.
Oh, he's definitely the worst, and which really sucks because that would be such a sweet gig to have.
He's in a contract year, and I almost wonder, is he just coming out with all the just most unlikable shit
out.
that, you know?
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird. But, so Brady's finally done. He kind of closes the book on our generation of quarterbacks that we grew up watching.
On
the
like
Mannings,
two of them.
Brady's.
But yeah, Breeze,
Rivers,
Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger, all of those guys are now gone. And which really makes, like, oddly enough, makes Russell Wilson like one of the oldest studs. Which is crazy because luckily he's not that old, but Rodgers obviously is the one who takes the podium there. But the more Brady, the 2 years he played with the Bucs, made me appreciate him so much more than I did when he was with the Patriots. Mm-hmm. And what's super interesting about his time with New England is when he retired, and this could change, he could make a separate announcement, but when he made his announcement, he didn't mention the Patriots at all.
I know.
Not even.
Well, did you see what he did today?
I didn't yet.
There was a video montage, and it was predominantly Patriot footage. But
it's interesting that he still hasn't said anything.
Well, it's got to make you wonder if he's going to retire as a Patriot. if that's what he's holding out for to get the. I loved all the massholes on Twitter though, absolutely just losing their minds because of the fact that they weren't mentioned in a nine photo Instagram retirement.
Yeah.
And they were losing their minds, and they got mad as if he owes them anything.
I am so pumped to go to Boston.
I'm jealous.
I just told you before the show, going to Boston for that Mariners game because I am so excited to wear as much Mariners gear as I possibly can in the heart of all of the sea of Red Sox fans.
I just don't think they're going to care. I don't think the Mariners live in their minds.
I think they do. Well, I think they will this year. But when I was talking to my buddy about it, he said, fair warning, it can be a little intimidating being a visiting team sports fan in Boston. But he said you'll like it, and I'm sure I will. I'm so excited.
Well, you never talk shit to anybody, so
I can't wait to get beat up. I'm gonna get destroyed over there. But you're right. The Boston sports fans are they take everything so personally, and I would be upset if it's different. But like if Wilson left, let's say he leaves after this year, and he retires, and he doesn't mention Seattle, I'd be like, are you serious? I defended you since day one. I would be so personally hurt.
Well, it's kind of what we're experiencing with Richard Sherman in a way. I mean, the only time he talks about the Seahawks is...
I want to talk about that next week, because that's still going to be newsworthy. It's not timely or anything. Okay. But I do want to talk about that next week.
I just wonder if there's ever going to be a day for him in Seattle where he comes back and it's actually positive and happy and
some of the worst parts, and I understand it's kind of Cliff Avrill's job as the host, and he doesn't want to start any fires, but Cliff was kind of agreeing with him a little bit. Like,
I think there are points there to be made.
Some points to be made. Like what? Like Seattle fans don't hold their teams accountable.
I also don't know what that's supposed to mean.
And like he talks about these fans, and like starts presenting, if Bobby doesn't come back, you're in full rebuild mode. Okay.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, I don't understand how fans hold. I feel like I'm an accountable fan. I feel like you're not. Because you just think...
I am. I'm a supportive fan who
is delusional.
Understands the rationale. Like when they had to move on from Earl, and they had to move on from Sherm, and these kind of guys. I understand the rationale, but I'm very Homer-like for sure.
Yeah.
But I still hold them accountable. If I think, I defend Russ a lot, but I think he is still, when healthy, is still a top 5 quarterback.
We'll see.
And we'll see. But I do want to talk about Sherm next week. Very, very much so. I forgot about that, even though I was listening to it on the way here.
We should do like a Super Bowl Media Day episode. We're just all things on the table.
And literally anything. You guys can come up with some questions.
We'll get Connor a mic. It'll be hot.
Yeah, it'll be a hot mic. Hot mic. So, we should have given more time to Brady, but we don't have time because I have something else coming up here at Spokane Talks I have to record. Super Bowl, we'll talk again next week more about. Real quick, one move you want to see the Seahawks make this offseason.
God damn, why are we talking about the Seahawks?
I just want one player or one position group that needs to be addressed.
Interior line.
Offense?
Center. Okay. Yeah, sorry, offensive line.
All right. I
want a new center.
I say pass rusher.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Sick.
I don't have a jabroni.
You came in here the
late.
way that you came in here.
I was late.
Yeah.
I was late and I didn't prep at all.
Nope.
I'll admit that.
Yeah, Justin.
We had a better conversation without you here about Tom Brady's retirement than we just had on the show. Sorry for anybody viewing, but there'll
probably be more Brady stuff coming out over the next week.
I guess the real question is, do you specifically think it's a true retirement, or do you think he's going to farve it a little bit?
Oh, I think he's done.
You think so?
I could, not that I had some foresight into this, but it seemed like he was done. After the game.
Like emotionally.
Even like when he was his lip was bleeding, he was kind of walking. I was like, he looks old.
One of the times he got sacked and he stayed on the ground for so long, just looking up at the sky, like God.
Yeah.
Do you think that was the moment he's like, I think I'm done?
Well, I think he would play. I think there's a lot of pressure from Giselle.
I was gonna say it's been a strain on their marriage for a decade and a half.
It's ridiculous. She's so rich. I don't think she cares about him.
Problem is, I don't think it's the money issue, dog.
From what I understand, people that have actually interacted in Brady's circle and gotten to know Giselle, she's the best, and she totally understands the process. She's there for it. She gets what it is.
Well, because his life, football probably definitely
before
came
her.
From family.
Yeah, exactly.
I would almost guarantee it.
But apparently, she's a great hang. She's a bro, a girl's bro, a bro's bro.
I bet she's a good time.
Sick.
I'm just it's true.
Ill.
I don't have a jabroni. Do you have a good one? One that's worth sharing?
Off the top of my head, no.
Oh, you didn't get one. Oh, perfect. Okay, this day in sports history, I did do this part. These are actually kind of interesting. In 1876, Albert Spalding invests $800 to start his sporting goods company. It became Spalding's. Kind of cool. They manufactured their first official baseball, tennis ball, basketball, golf ball, and football that year. In 1942, baseball owners agreed to permit each club to play up to 14 night games.
Awesome.
I thought that was kind of interesting. And in 1990, Darryl Strawberry voluntarily enters Smither Center for alcohol rehab. He was a drunk. He was definitely a drunk. And in this date, in 1994, the owner of the Reds, Marge Schott, was suspended by the MLB for praising Hitler. Probably not a great thing to do.
Whoa.
Did you guys see the Whoopi Goldberg thing?
Yeah, that should be bad. A jabroni.
Oh, that should be a jabroni. Hey. Those white Jewish people should have just said, hey, fellow white people, let's not do this.
Dude, oh my God. And then the way they addressed it on the show. Who watches that show?
Oh, that show's such garbage.
Who watches that?
I'm convinced the same people that watch The View are keeping Long John Silver in business.
That's funny.
That's pretty good.
That's my conspiracy
That's
theory.
really good. Okay. My jabroni, Andrew Wiggins, made the All-Star starter team in the West, mostly because he has some sort of relationship and relevance within the K-pop community, and they have a
cake pop.
K-pop.
Okay.
So anyway, he got like millions of votes and rode off the coattails of his fan base, and so yeah, Andrew Wiggins, All-Star starter, 2022.
Could be worse. You gonna watch in the All-Star festivities? They start tonight. By football, that is.
No.
By All-Star, I mean Pro Bowl.
No.
I like the skills challenge. I think dodgeball could be so much better.
Why is dodgeball a more popular sport, by the way?
Why is it not?
Yeah.
I completely agree. Dodgeball, a True Underdog Story, is like top 5
I feel like that was like the go-to thing all the way from kindergarten through high school, and it was like dodgeball is the best.
Wall ball would be sick. I would watch wall ball.
Wall ball's fun, but we didn't really play too much dodgeball. We were already getting kind of soft. Like we weren't able to use dodgeballs. Like we used like the fluff balls.
But they had like the fluffy ones, but they also had the really like firm fluffy ones.
That's true.
The firm fluffy ones were the best.
Those were better.
The best.
I had some legitimate dodgeballs that had like a considerable amount of air
like
taken
the
out
ones?
of them. Yeah.
Oh,
so
those weren't as fun though.
So they weren't bouncy. It hit you like
I do kind of
like
remember
a
that
beanbag,
actually. Yeah,
almost because it.
Yeah.
I love that we keep like stopping talking because we're listening to this guy and he doesn't have a mic.
He's probably getting picked up a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, when he just tell me when you're gonna talk and I'll hand you a mic.
There you go.
But it should be like a more popular sport. Dodgeball was great growing up.
I 100% agree. Is that your closing time?
That's my closing time here.
Ooh, yeah, we should get Sam segments.
Yeah, we could do that. I also concur.
I like it.
What?
Dodgeball.
Jeez. It is. It's true underdog story. Yeah, I do want to talk more about Sherm next week. What do you have going on this weekend? I actually kind of like Thursday because then I can be like, hey, what's everyone doing this weekend? We can kind of like end this. It's a nice natural ending of the show.
I don't know.
Sam, you're not. He's first. He's the star.
I know. I'm just leaning over.
He's the talent.
I'm just checking you guys out. It's cool.
I think, again, per usual, I'm just slinging sliders. My friends are going snowboarding, and I'm kind of nursing an Achilles injury, and I don't
last time someone was nursing an Achilles injury, he ruptured it and got off the Seahawks.
Right, so
There he
that's
is with
not
another
the last
Seahawks
time.
tie-in,
There have been
folks.
two much more considerable Achilles injuries since, but all right. Make it about your Seahawks, of course. My God.
So you're just slinging sideys?
Slinging sideys. I don't know.
Nice.
Might responsibly partake in something.
Attaboy.
It's my buddy Blake's birthday today.
It was either a birthday or a wedding.
Happy birthday, Blake.
Yeah, exactly. It always is. It is his birthday. They're at.
I feel like, how do you have so many friends?
I feel like for Justin,
you're
it's always
such a polarizing personality. I cannot believe you have this deep of a friend base.
I swear Justin always has a friend who has a birthday or a friend who's getting married.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This has been going on for like almost 2 years.
Oh yeah, it's constant.
This is insane.
I'm on the move, constant. All right, so 2 really funny stories. You guys will both laugh that.
If I don't laugh,
are polarizing about me.
I'm selling farms.
So I was told I was in the ASB as a senior, and there was like 30 of us, and we were always together doing stupid stuff, whatever. I made a joke. We all would get together before class, and we would like essentially organize. What are we going to do for the day? I, as usual, would crack some sort of joke at some point. I cracked a joke after a teacher said something, and most people laughed. It landed decent, fine. And this girl comes up, and I'll say her name. Kelsey Rinaldi came up. She doesn't watch this. There's not a chance.
Not related to Tom Rinaldi.
She just happened to find this for whatever reason on Facebook
She's
today.
She's gonna be like, oh, that's right. I remember I hate that guy. She walked up to me, and I kid you not, with a straight face, looked at me dead in the eyes and said, "No one thinks you're funny." It was in the middle of everything, like in the middle of the room, and I'm like, well, first off, you're wrong. You're an idiot. And second off, I wish you would die.
Wow, that took a harsh turn. Right
I was
there.
like, but who?
Wait, how old were you?
Senior in high school. Who would do that? Like, that's a pretty ballsy thing to do.
I will admit that
I don't think so. There are a
I
lot
wouldn't
of
say
people
it's a super ballsy thing, but that's a confident person right there.
Right.
That's some
bingo.
No.
Bingo.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, it's insecurity, but no, there are a lot of people out there that are totally fine just going up and saying that something isn't funny because they're either don't think it's funny or they're offended by it or they think it's in bad taste.
She just said in general. She was just in general, you're not funny. No one thinks
she kind of had a point, but
I should have known from that moment on. The other thing, someone who I thought I was pretty good friends with, I probably won't say her name, but anyway, someone I thought I was pretty good friends with. We hung out all the time. She always was around all of us, and I found out through a third party, I guess, that she ended up not really liking me very much because I was too opinionated. And I'm like, hold on a second, pump the brakes. You know all the guys I hang out with, they're all just as opinionated as me, but you're going to put me in the crosshairs.
They're all as opinionated as you are?
In some capacity, yeah. Now, I'm definitely the most, for sure. But
dude,
yeah,
I thought I was opinionated until I met you, and I was like, dude, there's more to life, and I'm not doing any of it.
I'll argue my life away if I have to.
Yeah, man.
So essentially, yes, I do have a lot of people who enjoy me, but a lot of people who probably don't.
No, your friend group just sounds like it's 30 deep.
It's pretty deep.
I feel like
that's
I feel like 30's,
which also
I feel like
makes
30's
me,
a light
kind of suspicious of you as a person having that big of a circle.
Well, I have a circle and then a circle, and the circle's good.
No new friends. No new friends. No new friends.
No, not really.
Hang out with the same like 2 people.
Same. I got like 4 to 6 on a good like.
Well,
and one of them lives in Seattle, so I mean,
that's also part of
it. There's a good amount of us, but all right, I got to move on to the next thing. I'm 7 minutes over.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and do your thing?
Yep, I will. All right, we'll see you next week, next Thursday. Thanks for watching us here on The Locker Room. Have a great weekend. See ya. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all from us. Tune in each Friday for more of The Pulse. Until then, feel free to binge all of our content on YouTube or Facebook. Stay safe, and goodbye for now.